Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to RN Talks. So, आज हम कुछ नया लेकर आए हैं. Something that I had been intending to do for a very, very long time is to make our platform inclusive of an inclusive platform for special needs children. So that had been a dream, and we actually had 2, 3 children participating with the mainline, with normal children, but formally इसको मैं introduce नहीं कर पाई थी. Some of the other hitches are coming up, but now we are good to go, and we start today with perfect imperfections. Now you will be asking me, why do I call it perfect imperfections? It is perfect imperfections because though we as normal people think that children with special needs are imperfect, but in actually real sense, they are not the imperfect, they are just perfect. Imperfect हम हैं. हमें झूठ बोलना आता है. हम आप कहते हैं ना, डेढ़ चारापन करते हैं. We are insolent, we are rude with people. We can we can associate with all kind of bad qualities with that, it should not go with humanities. We indulge in terrorism, we indulge in we sometimes hurt people and we enjoy it. But these children with special needs, they are just perfect because they just know one language, they understand one language, that is love. So that is why we have started this, and आज के बाद RN Talks के हर प्लेटफॉर्म पे परफेक्ट इम्परफेक्शंस एक कैटेगरी रहेगी. So with a warm heart and a big hug and a big smile, I, Ranjita Nath Dehi, founder RN Talks, invite all the parents and the special needs children to my platform, where you will be given the same love and respect that you deserve at par with other children. So today we've got two specialists for you. One is Dr. Aparna Sharma, and the other expert is Dr. Nidhi Sharma. So both I will be introducing them, and we are going to have some interactive chit chat over here. कि क्या जर्नी रहती है पेरेंट्स की, क्या मानसिकता रहती है, कितने तनाव, कितने स्ट्रगल्स के साथ उनको जूझना पड़ता है, and what all have these experts seen, and what do they want from you, from me, right? So coming on first online is Dr. Aparna Sharma. Mrs. Aparna Sharma, she is the principal Jiva Public School and Faridabad, and she is also a teacher by profession. She's been teaching for past 21 plus years, and she has been associated with children or with special needs for past 25 years plus. So we'll be talking about with her about her journey, and also not only this, she has been designing and developing and enhancing the inclusive education curriculum system of her school. Little Steps is there, which where it's a special platform for special children where they offer therapies. So मैं अगर सब कुछ आपको बता दूंगी तो फिर आप उनसे क्या सुनोगे, right? So मैं सब कुछ नहीं बताते हुए, now I am inviting Dr. Mrs. Aparna Sharma over here. Welcome, Aparna ji, to
Thank
our
you.
platform. And I would like to know more. मैंने तो एक छोटा सा gist दिया आपके बारे में, but I would like you to tell us more about your dream, your life as a teacher, as a mentor working with children with special needs, and what challenges have come your way, what motivated you to go there, and basically what you have felt in your journey throughout.
Thank you, Ranjita. It's indeed a pleasure to be in this platform and to connect with so many parents of children who are having these very special needs, and at the same time with the parents who are having children in the mainstream school system. Learning is a process which is true for all, whether a child is a normal child or a special need child. Learning is there, it has to happen. The only difference between the two set of children is that for one it is just a natural process, whereas for a special child the method has to be modified a little. That's all, according to the ability of the child. And every child who comes to this earth, believe you me, has an ability. And it is our responsibility as teachers, as parents, as caregivers to identify those special abilities or abilities of our children. And being a teacher by profession, I was able to identify among the various children that I could get a chance to interact with in my journey as a teacher. What are their potentials? What are their abilities? And most important is that I was blessed with a son who is a special need child. And believe you me, he is my teacher. I have learned a lot from him as he has grown. I am still learning. Every day is a new day. And I learn so much, which I don't think any books or any journals or any courses can teach me, because that is the life learning. And as you had rightly said, that, and you have termed your the theme of your program, perfect imperfections. See, none of us are perfect. Each one of us have something missing, have something in lots, in abundance, but we all are, in those imperfections also, we are perfect. And that is something which really, now when I got to hear this from you, when you were talking about hosting this program, I just reflected back. And yes, it is a journey of perfect imperfections. I have learned a lot from him and from the other children. And most important is the parents, each one of them. I with the all the special needs children's parents with whom I have interacted over the years, every time I have learned some new aspect of an issue, of a concern, about their desires, about their worries. All these are very natural processes. But when it happens with a parent of a normal child, it is taken for granted, and the solutions are readily available for those children and those parents. But for such children, we need to really craft out, and we need to design very specialized paths and specialized goals for such children. And that is where the challenge is. And
Right.
that has
So,
been my.
you know, on our platform today is Dr. Nidhi Sharma also. She has also been, she is a psychologist and a psychotherapist, and she has been working as a counselor in schools and colleges for past 12 years. So she and for the past 2 decades, she has been working with children with special needs. So I would, it will be indeed a pleasure for me to invite her on our platform over here. And while Dr. Sharma joins us, Dr. Nidhi Sharma joins us, I would just like to tell everybody out there, if you have a question for us, please type it in the comment box. अगर आपके पास हमारे लिए कुछ भी क्वेश्चन है, दो एक्सपर्ट्स हैं हमारे साथ आज, आपके पास कोई क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, आप टाइप करिए. मेरा कैमरा थोड़ा जूम फोकस गड़बड़ हो गया है, बट आप टाइप करिए. And I'm there reading. I'm going to be putting up your questions to the experts. So we'd love to have some input from the audience. Be a part of our perfect imperfections today. So welcome, Dr. Nidhi Sharma.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you here as an expert. So I have just introduced Aparna ji. So थोड़ा आप अपने बारे में भी बता दीजिए हमको.
Well, thank you so much, Ranjita. It is indeed a pleasure to be here. And I was just listening to Aparna, and she was reverberating the same sentiments, the same thoughts, and similar kind of experiences, which I have been very fortunate enough to have. And the one thing that really shouts out to me, and I absolutely and wholly agree, is that in these 2 decades, I don't think that um, I have been a teacher. I think I have been the learner, and these children have been the ones who have taught me, and they've taught me so much. It seems as if I am the educated one, and I'm the one who's, who's been dealing with them, taking their remedial classes, speaking to the parents. And but they are who they are, and they love you so implicitly. And it is their smile that gets you going. It's the twinkle in their eyes that make you, want to do more. And the never giving up, you know, is something that I have learned from these children. So yes, it's been a journey, and certainly, and I've also been working as a counselor whenever the opportunity has come. Since I also come from an army background, so whenever the opportunity has been there to work as a counselor for the normal children, I have been there too. I've done that, taught in colleges, psychology, of course. And I've had great experience even working as a counselor in colleges, where I've had varied experiences. And what I have felt is that parents are a thing. No, parents are a set of people who are truly, who are another set of people from where I have learned a lot. And my endeavor has always been, to reach out to them, and not just to them, reach out to other parents who have normal children. And as Aparna so beautifully put, that it's just the tactics and the challenges are different, but it's all the same. But I also personally feel that in case if we can raise up and sensitize the other people in the society, starting with parents and other children too, the normal children too, to sensitize them to the kind of life and the kind of challenges that this side has faced, would make the journey of the special children and their parents so beautiful. And it would make it so as having less, as you can say, speed breakers, and going ahead with more smiles, and intending and wanting to wake up the child and send them to school saying that, hey, you got school, get up, let's go, you know so yeah, so that's something that I would like
So
all of
on
us.
this, Surab, I just like to ask you, like we are talking about children with special needs. I'm not I'm sure everybody is aware, but still on a broader prospect, like how do you say that a child is a special child?
Aparna, why don't you go ahead?
See, actually, again, this is a very, very debatable terminology
Yes.
because every child is special. Every child on this earth is special. Somebody is special because of physical requirements. Somebody is special because of emotional needs. Somebody is special because of the social needs. And there are some children who have a complexity of all these needs. All right. So it as caregivers, again, I repeat, when I say caregiver, it means the parent, it means the teacher, it means the support staff of the school. All are equally responsible, and even we as members in the society, it is our role. Whenever it is a common parameter, we always want to see, or we put all the children on a certain benchmark, that if you are 3 year old, then you should do this. If you are 10-year-old, you should do this. You have completed school class 12, now you should be doing that. Now these are benchmarks which have been set by us, and every child is not able to keep at pace with that benchmark, right? So then it becomes very important for all of us to not only support that child, but also support the parent of that child. Because see, the child is not understanding that he or she has not started walking or sitting, or maybe not getting the scores like other classmates, whatever, as has not completed class 12 at the specified age. But parent is under societal pressure, because the other children of their friends, they are now entering into college, they are now doing whatever, some skill program, they are going in for music, dance, games, this, that. But I have to take my child for therapies. I have to take my child for specialized, skill training. I have to take my child for specialized classes, special education classes. Now, just as a regular child is going for tuition classes, similarly, this child is going for special intervention classes. Not a very big difference. It is the same, but the process is different, terminology is different, and in that a big mob is going, and here one isolated child is going. That is where the difference comes, and that is what, being left out. This is what actually is the trouble for the parents, and this is where they feel that, I personally feel that we need to support the parent. And you believe you me, a little change, if the parent is able to see in that child, simply writing within the line, being able to erase neatly. Now, that is not a very big task for a regular child, but for a special child, just being able to erase neatly and proceed or go ahead with writing. That sense of achievement is very, very big motivator for the parent. So we need to help the parent. And once we have supported the parent, half the battle is won, because child is nowhere lacking. Child is very confident. मैं जो करता हूँ, मैं जो कर रही हूँ, वो सही है उनका एबिलिटी के हिसाब से. But pressures adults के हैं. Adults.
Deepa, would you like to add on to this? Like, inclusive education, like we're talking about in schools, where we have special needs children, because you've been dealing, आप दोनों ही डील कर रहे हो schools में बच्चों के साथ. Like Jiva Public School has little steps, therapies भी होती हैं, you give therapies. Like you have been, Nidhi, dealing with other people, like you have been dealing with the offline manner, not like in a therapy way, but yeah, maybe. But जो struggles है parents की, I would like you to enhance on that. And if you feel you can, like, both to Aparna and Nidhi, I would say कि मुझे समझो कि मैं नहीं हूँ.
Yeah, all right. So I'll just
yeah. And you both can, like, continue conversing and, like, pitching in with each other where you feel a point, because somewhere I feel I'm at loss for words, I'm at loss for questions, because I think I am just a person who's putting you up. I want people to join us with these problems, but actual on ground जो देखता है, जो कर रहा है, that is you two. So you are more experienced. So
yes,
I'll take a little back seat throughout the seat. I'm just like, if there is a doubt which I feel parents are asking, or if I think they might ask, so I'll join in. Otherwise, it's up to you both.
Sure. Thanks, Ranjita. So first, I would like to clarify over here, Ranjita, that about you taking a back seat and about you being a layperson. Well, first and foremost, I think Aparna and me, both of us, need to thank you, because if we would have not have had this platform, I don't think that this step would have been taken, which is at least very, very dear to my heart, and I'm sure it is so with Aparna too.
Yes.
And another thing that I would really like to add over here is where children are concerned, where their assessment is concerned, and how do we gauge that these children are special? Well, Aparna has given one aspect of it. The other aspect is also that we are very fortunate that for the past, I think, a decade now, the various boards have been very supportive of these children, and it's just that the information has not been reaching up to the required people. So because of which, again, to our luck, RTA Act provides accessibility to these parents, that their children can come and be a part of the normal going school children. So that is another very good thing that has started. Next point being that the children have, when they are identified with some challenges, there are certain tests, psychometric tests that are carried out. And then the more specific we are with the identification of the assessment, and the better it helps the parents to understand, and the better it helps the school and the counselor or the teachers to reach out to these children and make them a part of the normal school going students. So that is another aspect of it, which is very, very important. And by God's grace, we have been doing quite well in that area, because there are very good government hospitals which are certified. They are working in connection with the CBSE, ICSC, and various other boards. So that way, the board has really been extending a very helpful hand.
But
Yes.
what about schools?
The schools also. Now, what do you mean by what about schools? I'm sorry, I didn't.
What I mean about schools is, like, are the schools wholeheartedly supporting the schools, or there are some schools who like take the children and then say the child is
Well,
not up to the mark? Like,
yeah. So,
are
Ranjita,
you,
let
what
me
kind of
just.
response you are
I'm
getting
sorry.
from schools?
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. So, the answer to that question is, जैसे कि हमेशा हम जानते हैं कि पांचों उंगलियां कभी समान नहीं होती. So similarly, the same thing goes, for our for the different schools, because I live in Pune, and there are so many schools which are so supportive of it, and they welcome you with open arms, such parents and children, and they give their full support. And you'll be surprised to know, that uh, even the like it may be Marathi based school, it may be English based school, it may be Hindi medium school in northern side, but there are so many schools which are, welcoming and being truly supportive. So, and yes, there are certain schools which like to show that, they don't mind and they speak a lot on it, but they are not able to contribute to the inclusive education.
Yeah, here I would just like to, kind of continue with what you shared,
Yeah,
Dr. Nidhi. It's
sure.
very right. Boards have been really very, very progressive,
Yes.
and ministry has really worked into it and has made a lot of amendments and, modifications, and they have given a lot of scope to the schools and to teachers and to
Yes.
parents to work with such children, to have such children. But we have to understand the ground problems. What are the ground problems? The class strength is such where a mainstream teacher cannot handle such children. Secondly, we are having deficit of trained teachers for handling such children. I feel our B.Ed course should be such that a mainstream teacher should also know, on an average, how to handle special need child in the classroom. And then we should have the supporting teacher, maybe the remedial teacher or a special educator, trained certified special educator, to give that little edge over the average attendance or the average care that the normal school mainstream teacher is giving. But what is happening is, in most of the schools where there are such children who are getting admission, either they are being redirected totally to the special educator. Now what happens is that the child, in spite of being into the system, is away from the system. Now that is very, very damaging and very, very hurting for the child, and a child is not able to express that and is experiencing. We have to understand, such children are able, they are sensitive, they are highly sensitive, and they are not able to share, they are not able to express, and that is where the damage becomes even bigger. Right. So what we need to do is, what we need to have is more, improvisation in our teacher training program.
I agree with you,
Our
Aparna.
teachers have to be
Totally.
trained, and
Yes.
as mainstream teachers, they need to be trained to handle. See, if there is a child in the class, it should not be that this child is X person's responsibility. No, the child is the teacher's responsibility, and the child has to be taken care of by the mainstream teacher, just as she is taking care of the high achieving. See, I consider both the groups as special need. Children who are high achievers are also special need children, and children who are poor or low achievers, they are also very much special. So both the categories, you cannot put them under only specialists. No, that's not fair. That's not the deal.
No, that's not fair, Aparna. But this is where, I 100% agree to you. In fact, I think in our B.Ed courses we can add another paper
Yeah,
which
it should be
includes
there.
with these things. And I think this will be one major thing that would really support our teachers, and at least they will have the relevant information.
Yes.
So the way we've been tackling, rather, my experience in this has been, the way I have been tackling when I've been working as a counselor, is that certainly those issues have been there, that the child is totally sidelined, and more or less the child is with the special educator. So the whole point of being of giving inclusive education
Inclusive.
goes for a toss.
Yeah.
But this is where I've tried to work out. I mean, I'm uh, believe me, I'm not making any excuses, but I always strive to look for like what more can be done.
Yeah.
So to this, what I tried was that wherever I have worked is that there is also, I'm sure you're already aware of it. I mean, so the shadow teachers really have started playing a very big role in in the school scenario. And so what happens is that in case I've been taking the remedial classes of, let's say, in English, I'm there's one period or there are two periods that are allotted to me where I deal with, they come to me, and I have specific periods, and they come to me, and remedial classes is something, where you have the individual education plan, so you work it out with the shadow teacher. So with the shadow teacher, what happens is that the child still gets to sit in the class,
Into the class.
be a part of the class with the shadow teacher beside him. Now, I faced a lot of resistance there, because I introduced the concept of shadow teacher in a couple of schools, and it was unthinkable. And the kind of uh, wariness, and the kind of like, what, another teacher in the class? No, you don't understand. Parents will not approve of it, other parents won't approve of it, and the children will get disturbed, they'll keep staring at the shadow teacher. And and I said, well, why don't we just give it a chance, like with just one child? you know let's start it with just one child, and let's see what the feedback is. It took me a while to break that resistance down, even though I've been in this field for a while. So yes, so this has been another aspect to your concern, and a very valid concern, Aparna, because I mean, the kind of society
Okay,
that we live
Geeta,
in.
I have a question from, I have three questions over here.
Yeah.
One from Shashank Sharma and two from Himani Warpe Patil.
Yes.
Please excuse me if I misspell your name. I'm taking your, I'm asking apologies beforehand. Himani asks, is shadow teacher allowed in government school or in Kendriya Vidyalaya?
This
So
is where I
yeah.
want to share,
Yes.
what very rightly Dr. Nidhi has mentioned, that there is a lot of resistance, not
Yes.
only from parents, but also from the teacher in the classroom.
Yes.
Nobody wants to be monitored. They feel
Yes.
that our capabilities are going to be questioned. We are going to be under observation. See, this is human nature. Again, we have to understand when any change is happening, and it is not that it is affecting all the children, only one. So when the ratio is so small, then it is very difficult to convince. It is easy for handling a common problem, a bigger problem, but when it comes to small specific individualized problems, then it becomes difficult, very
So,
difficult.
ma'am, what can be done? Are shadow teachers allowed?
Yeah, it
Yes.
is
Yes.
allowed by
Yes.
conversation,
Parents,
by dialogue with the school authorities. And here comes the role of the school managements, that they
Yes.
support. It is
Yes.
not that the teacher will decide whether I should allow
No.
or not
No.
allow.
This
It
is
is
this is
the
by the
school
school
management.
authorities.
so
Yeah.
It is
parents should approach the
ideology.
management
Yeah,
So the parents have to approach
pressure
the
on the
principal.
approach.
management, or they should talk to the management
Yeah,
for inclusion of a support teacher. This is what
yeah.
Yeah, so the step is that the parents need to go and speak to the principal. Then the principal speaks to the management and whatever the relevant. And of course, the parent asks for an opportunity to speak to the principal and the management together. And then whatever decision is taken by the principal and the school management is what goes ahead. But certainly they have this right of
Okay,
asking.
ma'am. Another
One thing
question.
I feel here is, like, which I have been practicing over the years, is that the child should never be handled as just a person. we should take the class teacher, parent, and the school management all have to work in cohesion.
Absolutely
They
right.
have to be hand holding,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then
True.
only the child will be in the center and will be supported totally.
It's
We
like,
cannot say
एक
that
गाड़ी
only
में
parent will do or only teacher will do or
No,
only
no, no,
manager.
no, no, no.
No, it is
आप
not
No.
possible.
आपको एक गाड़ी चलानी है तो एक ट्रक का पहिया हो, एक मारुति 800 का हो, एक मर्सिडीज का हो और एक ऑटो रिक्शा का हो तो गाड़ी नहीं चलेगी।
नहीं चल सकती।
गाड़ी के सारे पहिए एक तरीके के, एक साइज के और एक अलाइनमेंट में होने से ही चलेगी, राइट?
जी,
Absolutely.
और ये सारे स्टेक होल्डर्स को कॉमन प्लेटफॉर्म पे आना होगा। देखिए, अगर पेरेंट है, he or she has his or her own anxieties, own goals, own desires. Why should they not have? Because the child is theirs, और हर किसी को उसके बच्चा सबसे प्यारा है।
प्यारा होता है। Yeah.
And then if we take the case of the teacher, we have to understand within 40 minutes teacher is attending 40 children, so the time given is at the rate of 1 minute per child.
मैम एक
आप
क्वेश्चन आया है,
इस चीज को समझें।
सोनू
ठीक है ना?
सोनू कल से नहीं सॉरी रीमा converses, do parents have to bear the expenses of the shadow teacher?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes,
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
And
It is,
one more
it is a
question.
process. It is a process which is being experimented in many schools. Many schools are open for it. Some schools are not open for it. और एक और बात हो जाती है, देखिए, again, जैसे ही shadow teacher आता है, dependency बच्चे की सिर्फ उस teacher तक हो जाती है। हर
नहीं, I'll beg to differ here, Aparna, because for the past few years, since there are times when I've been successful with the shadow teacher being present in the
yes,
class.
it is a success.
But no, so my take on this is that so the child is not certainly the child identifies and feels more safe with the shadow teacher, but now it is the duty of the counselor in the school,
Yeah.
because that is what I have been carrying out. It is my duty as a counselor, in case I'm working in the school, to speak, because I used to speak every bi-monthly, to the teachers and give them a format where they have to fill it up, that what, and provide them with relevant information, that how is it that they need to be, and how is it that they need to speak, and what are the small actions they need to take to feel that child included. It could be just one small action per period, but all the teachers of that particular section have to be schooled. Literally, they have to be schooled, and that is what I think. These are the steps that have to be taken by the counselor. Now, again,
this is what I said. No, they all have to work in cohesion.
Yes,
all
absolutely.
have to be together.
So,
even if one person goes a little offbeat, then it is the child who will suffer. Nobody
so
else.
No. So,
Just a minute.
yeah.
The questions are now pouring in, so I have to kind of
Yeah, tell me. We'll keep it short. We'll keep the answers short. Tell me. Yeah.
हिमानी जी, मैं आपके क्वेश्चन पे 1 मिनट में वापस आती हूँ। उससे पहले शशांक शर्मा ने एक पूछा है, what are some good resources for those looking to learn more about this? Any particular podcast or YouTube channel or books that either of you would recommend?
Okay. So, Aparna, would you like to go ahead and answer this?
You can start, ma'am. You can start.
Yeah. So, the now podcast, YouTube, and all these things are they may be relevant to a very small section of society, and this is something that we need to, when we have parents teachers meeting in schools, and when the principal addresses the new set of parents, or the coordinator or the headmistress or the headmaster, when they address, then it is something that it needs to be mentioned, that how in the framework, these are the things that are provided. Now, about the resources is something that can be, as you mentioned, Mrs. Aparna has already been doing it, that is to provide different therapies, because there are many parents who are not aware of the different therapies that can enable the child. And in case if they are aware, then they are not able to take on the cost factor of the therapies. That is a very big hurdle that parents really struggle with. Again, a very small portion of society, a very small percentage, minuscule percentage of society can afford these therapies. Each session can cost up to 1,800 to 2,500 to 3,000 per session. So that is why the resources it is. And I really admire Parna ji for this, is because she actually runs this place where they are offering different kind of therapies for the parents, and they can come, and the children can really grow, and they can learn different skills, and the smallest of victories are like amazing for them. It's as if उन्होंने झंडा गाड़ लिया है हर दिन. So about the resources and about podcasts, it is certainly a good idea, because people are growing, media is really growing, social platform is becoming bigger and bigger. So that's a great idea that we can start a podcast in Hindi maybe, which is more, which has more reach out to different section of society. So yeah, so I think Shashank has made a very relevant point. We can start, and on YouTube again, I would say that even the lower strata of society, or the middle strata of society, who the ones who really want to reach out, what I've experienced about the mothers and fathers of special children, the ones who really want to do something for the children and who want to reach out, can go to any lens, can do any kind of research, can reach out to any end of the earth, just to make that child be a part of the normal stream.
So, are there any current resources right now available that you could guide somebody on this?
Sorry, I'm sorry.
कोई resources है जो कि आपको पता है that they can look up to?
Yeah, Aparna.
Actually, when we say resources, it is a very, very subjective term, I should say. If I have a child who is visually impaired, my resource will be very different. My requirement will be very different. If I have a child who has intellectual disability, then again my resource will be different. My goals of bringing up the child will be different. I cannot have a set pattern. Again, I'm telling you, this is a field which is highly specialized, and we need to go a long way. There are such wonderful experts in our country who are putting in a lot of effort in kind of bringing the data to get together, in putting the matter together, and making it readily available for the parents, like what you are doing today, Ranjita. I appreciate this step that you have taken. But the point is that it is again a very subjective matter.
Yeah.
All right. And one more point which we have to understand is that, again, I'm repeating what I said in the beginning, that we all, as human beings, it is natural. I'm not saying that anybody's being kind of overboard or anything. It is a natural process that all of us want to be a part of the league. As parents, we do not want to be identified as something very different. It takes a lot of effort for the parent to accept and then to take the step to come up with something which is almost at par, or will give identity to his or her child. Now, that much of patience,
because
time,
yes, and because I feel, yes, to sensitize other parents, for as very rightly put by Aparna, that they do not, the parents would really like it if there is no even the slightest of difference between the approach or the thought process, or the just to even speak. I mean, forget everything else, as basic as conversing.
Yeah.
Right, well, there is one question coming here. Himani ji पूछ रहे हैं. One more question, ma'am. Please guide about the provisions for autistic or specially able children in open school.
Yeah. That's a very big and wonderful platform that has been
Yes.
made by our government.
Yes.
Really appreciable step.
I'm so
And the
excited. Yeah.
best part about open schooling is that it is absolutely child friendly.
Yes.
And what I have been telling repeatedly, benchmarks. Open school does not put any kind of benchmark कि आपने एक academic session में नहीं किया तो मतलब you are like left out.
Huh.
No.
What
In
is an open school? Like,
open
I am a layman on
schooling,
this.
yeah, national open schooling system of our country. Here, the child can give exam at class 10 and 12 once the child crosses the age of 16 years. And here, the child will may have studied in whichever board, whichever school, whichever state. It is open. Here, any child can take admission. And the best part about open schooling is that child can decide that in whole year I will study only one subject and I will appear for the exam. An exam is conducted twice, once in October, once in April. So the child can take the exam as per his or her pace of learning. If the child wants to give all 5 subjects at one go, like other children, most welcome. If the child wants to give at intervals of 6 months, most welcome. So it is absolutely customized. A child has to take, parent has to take the decision what and
Okay.
how to, and they have a range of subject, a huge range of subject,
Okay.
and which are skill based as well as theoretical.
Sure.
So it is very, very child friendly.
Another question is coming in from Reema ji. She
Huh.
says, can we not train the teachers in school to have the acumen of shadow teachers?
Yes, yes, it is happening.
So it will be a challenge, Rima, because you see the teacher in today's time is anyway struggling with minimum 40 children, 40
Yeah.
students in a class, and certainly uh, the teacher will be unable to function as a shadow teacher, the main teacher, that is the subject teacher or the class teacher. Now, but I reiterate over here is that I think, of course, Aparna ji is already a principal of the school. I mean, I would reach out to other principals of the school also, that in case if we can have a capsule of empathy and sensitivity and to truly understand, just by simple actions, they can feel you, they can make the child so much part of the class that everything is achieved. They don't have to be just as a very correct word Rima ji used over here is acumen. But acumen, having acumen does not go with empathy, but just a smile, just a going and patting on the back, just by going and asking a direct question, just by saying, oh, this is what you've done in the copy, जबकि वो बच्चा वो कर रहा है जो उसकी shadow teacher ने बोला है. But if the subject teacher or the class teacher walks up to the child, picks up the copy, reads the copy, it takes a minute. He's a part of those 40 children. Now she goes, she picks up the notebook, she reads, and she says, wow, this is what you have done. That's great. Everybody, see what he has done and how well he's written or how clear it is. Please clap for him or her. That's it. My God. You cannot imagine what it does for that student in the class. So yeah, I mean, no, shadow teacher it cannot be worked out with the subject teacher. That's just
It is difficult. It is difficult
very
because she
challenging.
has her own pressures.
Exactly,
You
her
have
own
to
pressure, her
understand.
own syllabus. Yeah.
It is not possible. And
No.
expecting too much out of one person is not
I know,
right.
as it is, they're struggling with a lot of the syllabus and
Yes.
everything and many other activities. So,
And
yeah.
One more
especially with
question.
this hybrid mode which is on, it
Oh,
is
yes.
a very big challenge. And hats off to every teacher. I really, have a lot of appreciation, and I'm so happy that the entire teaching fraternity has kind of adapted and adopted itself so beautifully in this hybrid mode. That again, that is a challenge for them. And
Yes.
especially with the children with special needs, making them sit in front of the screen, catching their attention, making them do and understand the pressure on the child. At home,
Yeah.
the child is sitting in his or her setup,
Yeah.
and the parent is there again. Now mama becomes a teacher, then again she becomes mama, then again she becomes teacher. How much of conflict the child is having with during the duration when the class is on? And then the child has to listen to the teacher also, whatever she's instructing on the screen. It is a very, very complex situation, and making so many adaptations within 40 minutes for a Sen child is very big challenge. It is very difficult.
Ma'am, a
So,
question है, how
हाँ.
open schools work? I'm just so happy. You know, I thought people are not going to respond, but they're actually responding.
Yeah,
How open schools work means from class 1 to 12. Oh, just a second. कहाँ गया question? Means नीचे से question आ रहे तो ऊपर से निकल जाता है. Means from class 1 to 12, or they go government admission in class 5, 10th and 12th respectively. Means 5th, 10th and 12th में अलग से आते हैं या from class 1 to 12?
नहीं, class 10 and 12 direct.
yeah.
10 and 12 direct, whichever school class you have studied.
Okay, now another question is, also want to know if there is any reservation in government jobs for autism spectrum.
Yes, there
Yes,
is.
yes, yes.
Disorders.
There is
3%, 3% reservation.
yes, and that's big. That's a huge number.
Huge
That's a
reservation.
huge number.
Yeah.
For autistic children, for Down syndrome children, there are only particular areas where the Down syndrome.
Seven disabilities have been listed who
Yes.
are having reservation in government jobs.
Yes.
So they are a list of 7 disabilities.
Mr. Jitendra Kumar here says, will it not be a good idea to reserve some seats for such children in every school, and along with the teachers also train the normal students to help such children and treat them equally like other children?
We do. I mean,
it will be a good,
I
it will
have
be
a
good
point here.
learning. Yeah, it will be a
where-
good learning in life for the normal children also, and teach them to help the people in need from very beginning. Akshar School in Kolkata,
Akshar.
Akshar School in Kolkata has set a good example in this record.
Yeah. Yes.
See, I will just share here. Very rightly, Jitendra ji has said that the mainstream children can also get trained. Let me tell you, all the parents, and of course, I'm sure Nidhi and Ranjita will agree to it, that children are one set of people, one community on the earth who don't need to be trained.
Yeah.
They just teach each other.
Yes.
They learn
are
from each other. Just the fact that they are together, that teaching learning happens normally and naturally. As adults, we need to teach each other. We need to tell each other कि ये मुझे इसके लिए ऐसे करना चाहिए.
I'll give you an example.
don't.
It's not a special needs, but I had this when I was teaching in Hyderabad. इसी बात पे, that children are the greatest learners. Like I had a child, जिसने I was a class teacher of class 3rd A, and मेरे पास एक बच्ची आई जो कोई अभी तक सिर्फ गांव के स्कूल में पढ़ी है, and she knew nothing other than Tamil. ठीक है? So when this girl came up to me in the class, father said, "Madam, इसको हिंदी सिखाना, English सिखाना, मेरा बच्चों को तमिल के सिवाय कुछ नहीं आता." तो I was like, my God, it's like a child with a foreign language. How do I communicate? So I was like, इशारों से, like, I used to communicate. Then what I did was I brought the child in the first row, first seat, right under my nose, and I put the most intelligent child of my class onto her, और उसके पीछे 2 और बिठा दिए, और लेफ्ट राइट में भी मैंने जितने भी मेरे हाई अचीवर्स हैं उनको बिठा दिया. She was surrounded by high achievers on all sides, and I told those 5 children that if this girl does not make it, then it is your loss, because as a child आप उसको कुछ नहीं सिखा सके. You have not accepted. So let me see who can work the best on this child, you or me. So that was a challenge taken up by the children, and the best surprise I got was after a week or so, that girl was like, मैं reading करेगा, मैं reading. I was like, eh? ये रीडिंग करेगी, and she's saying हिंदी में मैं रीडिंग करेगा. That I was taking an English class and I was an English subject teacher and I was like, okay, read. So वो धीरे धीरे ना वर्ड्स जोड़ जोड़ के पढ़ रही थी, and यहाँ से पीछे उसके जो 5 उसके पिलर्स थे, they were like, you know,
Prompting.
prompting her, चलो चलो बोलो बोलो पढ़ो, and she was getting so pepped up and like, you know, like हर बार में रीडिंग से किसी का भी रोल नंबर उसको एक बार रीड करना. And
That
then
is what. Buddies play a
And-
very important role, and this
Yes.
is, you know, a very natural process of learning for
I
children.
couldn't do as well for that child as the children of the class did for her.
Very true.
And वो जो bond होता है ना between these set of children,
हाँ,
neither can those
are
bonds be
teachers.
broken, nor can they be made. They are just
Yeah.
Yeah. And क्या हुआ पता है, 1 महीने के बाद जैसे क्लास वाइंड अप हो गया, सब कुछ हो गया, छुट्टी हो गया, and I was going and I see this girl running back at full speed and I said, I did that कि like क्या हुआ, and she like मेरा बॉटल छूट गया. I said, हाँ, एक पूरा हिंदी सेंटेंस करेक्ट बोली, मेरा बॉटल छूट गया. So she knows कि कैसे बोलना है. So
Yeah.
this I feel was a great point of victory for me, for my children, for my class, third A, for the children who had actually accepted the child.
Yeah.
And मैंने बस उनको बोला था कि ये एक बच्चा आया बेटा, आपको लेके चलना है. If that this child can't make it, then we as a class have failed. I have failed, you have failed. So that day onwards, my children, all 35 of them, took up that challenge कि नहीं मैम, हम इसको सिखाएंगे. तो टिफिन खाते टाइम सिखाते हैं, पीटी के टाइम सिखाते हैं, गेम्स के टाइम. They used to keep on mentoring her, and that is how the girl picked up.
Yeah.
So child is the father of man. ये उस दिन मुझे जाके अच्छे से I would say हमेशा सुना है, बोला है.
Yeah.
But that day it was proved to me that child is the father of man. मुझे भी मेरे क्लास के बच्चे सिखा गए कि एक बच्चे.
Very right. Very right. Do we have any other question, Ranjita?
Yeah.
Or are we done?
And then we find out. Being a BA trained teacher, can I open a school for specially able kids with inclusive education, or do I have to do BA in special education?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. She will have to do her B.Ed in special education.
Okay.
And
That
also be certified by RCI.
Yes. That I think, that's the progression. Like once you finish with that, then they register.
For
You have to
having a
register.
school. For running
Yes.
a school, she has to be an RCI
RCR,
certified
so
practitioner.
yes. She has to be a practitioner there.
Yeah.
And she has to get her a number from
Registration.
there. Registration number from there.
Right. Just before we wind up, Aparna ma'am, मैं आपसे एक चीज पूछना चाहती हूँ कि आपके यहाँ जीवा पब्लिक स्कूल में लिटिल स्टेप्स है, where you giving therapy. Can you just in a very short form, like just touch upon कि जो जिनको नहीं पता है कि if they want a therapy, what kind of therapy is kind of like, you know, how it helps and how you are going about it. Just छोटा सा and then we wind up.
See, when we say therapies for children, according to the requirement, we have to decide as per the assessment. Very rightly, Dr. Nidhi had mentioned in the beginning that assessment has to be done. When we say assessment, we get to know the parameters where the child needs assistance and where the child can manage on him or herself, or with little, direction. So when we find that assistance is required in the area of speech, then speech therapy is required. Assistance is required with respect to doing regular tasks. For example, holding, pinching, tying lace, picking up a pencil, or putting blocks into the right slot. So that is where we need to give occupational therapy. That is the training between of the messages from the brain to the extremities for execution of the task. And special education is required when it is, again, I would like to say here, when we say special education, it is not something different. It is not that you're doing some education which is not a part of the mainstream. It is the mainstream curriculum which is modified as per the needs of the child.
Yes.
And IEP is made, a program is designed which is
Yeah.
shared between the mainstream teacher, parent, and the special educator. And all three have to work together in
Yes.
cohesion so that eventually the child benefits. And here I want to make a point to everybody that the new NEP, the education policy that has
Education
come,
policy.
it is absolutely child friendly, and it is very much helpful for such children because they are talking about skill development. There is a lot of emphasis in the NEP about the skill program for the children, developing hands-on skill, thinking skill, emotional skill. All the 21st century skills have to be inculcated. They have to be nurtured among the children. And all this is going to be a part of the curriculum. These are not going to be separate identities or separate tasks. They are going to be part of the curriculum. You will deliver the curriculum by doing these or practicing these skills. So that will be a big help for the children. And
at this point, I would like to tell all the parents and who are watching and who will be watching later, because is that please like and follow our page, because हम लोग बहुत सारे contests पूरे साल में लेकर आते हैं where everybody can participate. Contests are all based on different skills like public speaking, like storytelling, like dance, like playing musical instruments, writing, story writing, essay writing. Some of them are paid, many of them are free. So, and quizzes. So, please जुड़िए हमारे साथ. Make the most of this platform, and this message especially goes out to all our parents who have children with special needs. RN Talks is there for you, so kindly make the best use of it. You're all welcome all the time throughout the year.
Here I would just like to add that in Jiva Public School, there are three major philosophies. One is the Dincharya ke Niyam. Very rightly, Nidhi ma'am had said in the beginning that these children are very, very methodical and they have their very, set patterns. So Dincharya ke Niyam is one practice which should be followed by all the people, not just children with special needs. It is a practice that will enable and strengthen all the children, mainstream children, even adults. So Jiva Public School has Dincharya ke Niyam. Jiva Public School has Swadhyay, that is self-introspection, because we are our own teachers, we are our own mentors, we can correct ourselves or we can enhance ourselves. And of course, self, others, and environment. And this is all the message that you are also sharing, Ranjita. Take care of yourself, take care of others, and at the end of everything, it is the environment.
Deepa, you got any last words to say before we part? Just a second. Yeah, now please carry on.
Yes, thank you so much. So, yes, I do have, I would like to really share my, could you just give me a minute, please?
Yeah.
Few
I know
seconds.
your four-legged buddies are all like,
Yeah, there are three of them. Just 1 second.
Yeah. So, Bipasa Kumarji says, my children were part of Akshay School in Kolkata. Yes, they have done a brilliant job, and it does also help other children to get sensitized, but they do have their own struggles. Yes, and it is very good on your part, I would say, Bipasha ji, that you are understanding the struggles, because it's very easy to try to wall up self-pity, but जो दूसरों की भी problem समझे और हम अपनी भी समझे, and then from there we go on. That's a new direction. So, Nidhi, coming on to you.
Yeah.
Any last words before we wind up?
Yes, I would certainly. This is I promise this is the last word, at least from my side. So I would like to share my sentiments over here because it's very, very close to my heart. This is something what we are doing today. And thanks to you, it's been possible, Ranjita. So yeah, once again. So here goes, there are certain thoughts that I would just like to read it aloud. And for starters, I would like to say that whatever I'm reading out over here, the I and the me is personifying the society. Yes? So here goes. As I sit across and speak to parents, as I said, I is the society. As I sit across and speak to the parents, I wonder what they think. Now, the parents, this is what they wonder. Would she truly understand? She is the society. Is she real enough to feel the joy with small victories won? Does she, the society, know the unpredictability of the days? Sometimes I still stand where I started. Some days I'm unstoppable. Moving ahead is a smooth play of clutch and gear with the speed taken. Would she understand the world my child lives in? It's a world where I am who I am. Me. That's the society. I would never be able to utter, I understand, cause I don't, nor can I ever. Not the kind of way that you do. The commitment, love, joy, struggle, the tears. Cause you, as parents, have truly raised the bar of parenting. But I, the society, promise you, I will try to be part of you, your life, to live, love, and laugh with you. So that's our promise to you. So, yeah, these are my thoughts.
Very beautifully said, Nidhi and Dr. Nidhi. And with this, I will call it a day today.
Yes.
I had actually planned this session from 8 to 8:30. And then I was so happy that so many parents started joining in with
Yes.
their queries and the inputs, that I feel that somewhere we have made a little space for perfect imperfections, and we will be having support of you all, our audience and our parents.
Yes.
पूनम टंडन जी कहती हैं, such an eye-opening and a heartwarming conversation. Wish all of us had the purity of these children. That
Very
is why,
true.
Poonam ji, I call this perfect imperfections. I could find no better name than this for this show and for them. So I thank you, Dr. Nidhi Sharma and Dr. Aparna Sharma, for being with me on RN Talks platform today for this very special beginning episode. And from here on, I promise every Saturday we are going to have a perfect imperfections, जहां आपसे रूबरू होने कोई ना कोई पेरेंट आएगा अपनी जर्नी शेयर करने के लिए, एक
Yes.
खास स्पेशल बच्चा आएगा
Yes.
अपनी कुछ स्किल्स दिखाने के लिए, डेमोन्स्ट्रेट करने के लिए. ये प्लेटफॉर्म आज भी उनका है और कल भी उनके लिए रहेगा. So with this promise, I take leave. You want to say something? Yeah.
Audio is not clear,
Wait,
Ranjita.
wait. Yeah, please proceed.
Learning Steps is the rehabilitation center where parents can come for therapies, as you had mentioned very rightly, Nidhi and Ranjita, for occupational therapy, speech therapy,
Yes.
and special education. And of course, most important is counseling sessions for the parents.
Very
I
true.
believe in that, and I practice that myself, that I feel that when the parent is able to let out or is able to share whatever is the anxiety, then he or she is better prepared to handle his or her child. So that is why I really look forward to giving or listening here to the parent. And this is what we do at Learning Steps. And Jiva Public School is one school which is having an entirely different philosophy of bringing up children at a very high socio-emotional level.
Very,
And
very
this
good.
is a platform
That's so good to
where,
hear.
yeah, parents can really come forward for their children.
Yeah,
So I thank you both for taking out such time,
it's
and
been
I
our
think
pleasure.
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank
Nidhi
you.
Sharma, your four-legged friends are like, I think they've had their share of patience, and they're going woof woof ki bas band karo, hamari shakal dekho. So
Absolutely.
I won't let them complain anymore. And
Yeah.
with my last thank you to both of you, I bring
Thank
this
you.
show to
Thank you.
an end.
Thank you,
Thank you
Ranjita.
so
Bye
much
bye.
Thank
for
you,
Thank you
joining
so
me.
Nidhi.
much.
Thank you, Ranjita.
Yeah.
Thank you, parents, friends.
Thank you, dear parents, and thank you, friends, for being here for all of us. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.
So with this, I now bring this to an end. I hope आप सबको हमारे साथ जुड़ के अच्छा लगा होगा, और जिन लोगों ने देखा है, जिनको लगा कि हमने कुछ फ्रूटफुल डिस्कशन की है, लाइक करिए, शेयर करिए, सब्सक्राइब करिए, कमेंट करिए. कोई क्वेश्चन है आप कमेंट बॉक्स में डालिए. Ask experts will answer you on your questions, and let us take this as a wave. सागर चलता है, उसमें लहरें चलती हैं. एक ऐसी एक लहर उठाते हैं आज परफेक्ट इम्परफेक्शंस के साथ, कि सबको हम अपने साथ लेके चले. कोई दया दृष्टि नहीं, बिल्कुल बराबरी से कंधा मिला के चले. 75 years of independence, I think we have moved ahead a lot, and we have yet to do a lot. So with this, I bring the show to an end. Thank you very much for being with us, and bene rahiye every Saturday's perfect imperfections ke saath. Thank you. Bye bye.